Responsible for reporting the latest numbers and research of the consumer electronics industry, our next guest is the Senior Director for Market Research for CEA, Tim Herbert. Tim, welcome into Tomorrow. How are you?
Good afternoon. Very glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. A lot of things that you and your group get involved in that really helps to, I think, steer the industry and do a lot of interesting research that shows industry trends and what we as consumers are buying or wanting to buy, perhaps, all in the long run to help benefit us as consumers, to know that there's product out there and trends and all the other cool things. So what can you tell us about what it is that your department does that keeps you motivated and excited about it?
Well, that's really it, Dave. We want to understand how consumers are using their products so manufacturers and retailers can make them better. But we also want to understand about tomorrow's products. The products have not even been created today, but nonetheless, we can get some guidance from consumers, and this really drives innovation. So I cannot understate how important it is to hear from the consumers and their attitudes, their perceptions, their desires. That all factors into the cool products that we see today.
And Tim, how do you come about getting this guidance from consumers? Is it kind of man, woman on the street thing? Do you bring a bunch of people in? Do you hire the Gallup poll or something? How do you find this stuff?
All of the above. We spend a lot of time talking to consumers. Sometimes it is face-to-face, but oftentimes it is through surveys. In the past 10 years alone, we have probably surveyed over 1 million consumers. So we have a lot of opinions from a lot of different people, and that's what is so important about market research is diversity of opinion. We want to hear from everyone. We want to hear from young people, middle-aged people, early adopters, late adopters. All opinions are valued.
Good point, because if you truly are going to get the big picture of whatever it is you're doing research on at that moment, you really have to get all the angles, or you're doing yourself and whoever it is you're serving at that point a terrible injustice, because they're not getting the big picture.
Oh, absolutely. And I think certainly many products have hit the mark and have been great successes, but there are plenty of examples where maybe the product wasn't quite ready for prime time and missed the mark. And some of that can be attributed to probably not enough research.
And we talk about a lot of products, which brings me to a lot of products that maybe have reached their prime or are no longer as valuable as they were. We're upgrading, we're doing whatever, and now it might be time to recycle some of those products. So you've done a lot of research as well on what we as consumers are doing, hopefully not just tossing out a lot of consumer electronics, donating them, recycling them. There are things that, of course, CEA is very involved in along those lines as well.
Right. Well, let me just put that into context a little bit first. In 2007, consumers purchased about 500 million consumer electronics devices. That's just collectively.
In 1 year alone.
In 1 year alone. So that's a lot of product.
Yeah.
And they also removed from their homes about 280 million devices. And when I say remove, that encapsulates a lot of different ways. The primary reason that people remove is they want to give it to someone else. They may have upgraded. Yeah. And a lot of these products have a very long useful life. Sure. So they pass it on to a friend, a family member. They may donate it to Goodwill. We also find that over the years, consumers have recognized the importance of recycling. So we have seen dramatic increases in the number of consumers recycling TVs, computers, and so forth. And unfortunately, there are still some products that do end up in the trash. And that is something that the industry takes very seriously and is working to address right now.
So a lot of people are beginning to recycle, certainly more than ever before, but still folks, as you mentioned, are still tossing things that would do better serving not only our environment and the earth in general, right, but maybe some organizations to simply recycle them. Take that extra step. Look at the options.
Yeah, I mean, we really found there are two issues here. You know, one is just we really need to reframe the mentality that everything is a waste product. And then secondly, we do find that a lot of people, they're just not sure of how and where to recycle. And we have seen that over the years, municipalities have done a much better job of providing information and drop-off centers. And there's a number of organizations that have provided information. For example, CEA has a website, mygreenelectronics.org. You type in your zip code and it directs you to the closest recycling center. So I think these are just a few examples of initiatives that really help consumers to effectively and efficiently dispose of their product.
And that's mygreenelectronics.org.
That is correct.
And we'll provide a link there as well. Rob and Tracy see, making sure the web team is well aware of that. In fact, it'll probably be your official link on the show page because that's certainly one of the things that you guys are very involved in. You guys did a recent survey with 1,000 adults to determine what consumers do with their electronics. Now, was that part of the recycling program, or this is a different topic?
That was part of the same product, same project. And certainly we wanted to understand both past behavior but also future behavior. So we know that many people over the past couple of years, they have upgraded their products from, say, a VCR to a DVD player, or an old analog TV to a new high-definition TV. So we know there's a lot of products that people are slowly beginning to have less use for. And specifically as it relates to TV, it's been a pretty hot topic because next year, as we know, on February 17th, 2009, the old analog television signals will be turned off, and people will have to rely on digital television signals.
Exactly.
And not to scare anyone, because it really only affects a very small % of the population. If you already have cable or satellite or a digital television, you won't know.
Exactly.
The small % of people that have an antenna only, certainly they will have to make a decision to either get a converter box or to upgrade their TV or move to cable.
Exactly, or satellite.
Or satellite, certainly.
True. And CEA is very involved in this DTV transition, as we are constantly reminding our audience about being prepared for a little less than a year from now. But you guys are constantly advising and helping consumers and have some great resources as well where folks can get more info. So, in fact, DTV.org, I believe, is another one of them, or there are several where folks can get that information.
Digitaltips.org.
Digitaltips.org.
There you go.
That's yours, exactly. And, of course, CE.org, but mygreenelectronics.org, the main site we want to get you to, in addition to CE for consumer electronics. CE.org is the CEA website. Tim, I wish we had more time because I really wanted to dig more into some of the cool things that you guys come up with. Let's get you back on the show again and find out more about the research and the things that you guys do that really help steer this industry, I think, dramatically.
Great. Thank you.
Terrific. We're back with more from the CEA Washington Forum here in our nation's capital. I'm Dave Graveline, bringing you further into tomorrow on the Advanced Media Network.